the council from staff. And can everybody so get seems very quiet.
Here's our request allotted each speaker and no more than 20. Or 954.2, no action or decision should be undertaken on any item not bring on the agenda. If appropriate, the chair or any committee member may direct that matter be referred to the integrated waste management staff for review. If you're participating on Zoom, select Participants tab and click the raise hand icon. If you are using a phone, press *9 to raise your hand. When your turn arrives, you will hear that you have been muted. At this time, state your first name, last name, county resident for the record. We have no public comment.
Okay, here that there's no any corrections or alterations from the board. Can I motion to approve?
Motion to approve pending the changes words recently voted. Are there changes that are going to be made?
No, we just tabled the minute the last meeting.
Okay. So motion to approve.
Okay, and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Nope. Okay, that's a 2-0 and absent. Okay, so announcements.
I'd like to bring our staff specialists.
Okay, good evening, Supervisor Curro, Councilmember Morales. Going to grant and fund updates for the City County Payment Program, Power Cycle. We granted $26,070 for fiscal year 2023-24 cycle, which ended March 1st of this year. The report is due April 1st. All of funds were spent for this grant.
And I like to do to you. Can everyone hear? Because I'm struggling. Is it? It may be the audio system.
There we go. Okay, now we see.
That's bad. Thank you much. I'm just want to sure people on Zoom here.
Absolutely. Should I go? And for the SB 1583 local assistance grant from Forsyth has extended from April 1st, 2026 to November 2nd of 2026. The Community Foundation of Sam's Food Resource Manager position, which funded this grant, was filled on March 2nd of 2026. Then to our general update, our events. On December 13th and 14th, we had our quarterly bulk item event at the John Smith Landfill, which had 138 attendees with a total of 194 items selected. We have continued hosting compost workshops at the county's Resource Management Agency office. These workshops have been funded using the SB 1583 Local Assistance Grant Funds. We have had state attendance at the workshops, typically 4 to 8 attendees. Our monthly household hazardous waste collection events also continue steady attendance, averaging over 7 attendance per event. We hosted our Recycle Day on February 7th, where residents were able to dispose of household hazardous waste, electronic waste, matches, and tires. We had over 200 participants, 4,766 pounds of e-waste, 319 tires, and 31 mattresses were collected. Additionally, we distributed 60 LED bulbs. Now on our youth school outreach updates, we currently have 8 ECO assemblies scheduled for March. On February 10th, Integrated Waste Management and Ecology participated in the Holler Prep School Call and Career Fair, spoke to them about the different positions in our department, work to encourage them to get started now, create a green team at their own school. On February 13th, Integrated Waste Management and Ecology also attended the San Benito County Office of Education Health Fair at San Andreas School, provided brief recycling presentations along with career green team encouragement, then provided them with commentary and interactive waste reduction games. Recali will be hosting their last poster content workshop at the San Benito County Library on March 12th from 3 to 4 p.m. All San Benito County students from TK through 12 are welcome to attend. On to our upcoming event, we are excited to announce our coast workshop on March 21st at the Benito Historical Park starting at 9 a.m. We will be building a live compost pile. Our first community cleanup of the year will be on March 28th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. at Hoster High School. We'll be focusing our efforts in the Benito Riverbed. Additional events include our quarterly bulky item event on March 28th and 29th, and our monthly household hazardous waste and every third Saturday of the month. And we are currently working on scheduling outreach at the Hollis Farm Markets and at the San Juan Farm Market. Lastly, we'll have our annual Earth Day celebration on April 25th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the State Historic Park in Juan Bautista. We'll be seeing more information soon as well. We would love to get your report and to spread the word about these events, and thank you for attending our events.
Unfortunately, Frankie couldn't make it today, so I'm standing in for him to provide the dumping program updates. Quarter 4 had a total of 17 dumping reports, 3 in the city of Hollister, 13 in Benito County, and 0 for the city of San Juan Bautista. We have, as you know, in the past, we've done bulky item collection pilot program, and where Recology goes out, and then people who live in multi-family dwelling units can bring an item that be disposed of. And this helps us keep our community clean because those items blocked from possibly being legally dumped. And so 21 items we collect from Street Apartments, Gateway Palms Apartments, and Rustic Garden Apartments. This program is a really good one that he has been sharing with other counties. We're leading in this. Ongoing part hanger distribution to promote the item program. On January 28th, the team went out and put part hangers in the live stick areas of the city of Hollister. Next is non-exclusive franchise quarterly payment. So this is year-to-date totals for 2025. We are still waiting for 1-2 payments that be attributed to the city of San Juan Bautista. So the fees, the regional agency members is 5% for the city of Hollister. City of San Benito is 10% residential and 15% commercial, and County of San Benito is 5%. These are for the non-exclusive franchise holders. Their gross receipts, they have to pay 5% to each individual agency. And so for the year totals for the city of Hollister, currently we're at $32,712.57. The city of San Juan Bautista, $3,506.63. And for the county of San Benito, $45,505.42. Next, I'd like to bring Integrated Waste Manager, Helena Seller.
Good evening, Chair, Councilmember Morales. A quick update, we have been asked to submit our 5-year countywide regional agency integrated waste management plans. It's a plan we remit every 5 years, and our report will be due June 30th of this year. We only anticipate one change, which relates to the disposal capacity at our landfill. We are below the 15-year capacity mark. So I will be meeting with our recycle over the coming weeks to discuss those changes, what that means for our plan, and we will likely bring this plan at a special meeting or the Q2 meeting of 2026.
Pardon me, I forgot to mention, at our last meeting, Supervisor Crow, you asked us how we are letting people know about the NEEF haulers. And so the NEEF haul, anyone who pulls a permit in the county of San Benito gets a packet that includes the hauls in the packet. So if there's anything else that you'd like us to answer, we can ask the meeting goes on. So.
Now, it's great. I have a question, but I want to, Councilmember Morales, is there anything that you'd like to ask?
So on the, is there a way to get a copy of the regional plan? Is it online or your website?
It is not currently available on our website, but we can email and we can add it to the website.
Yeah, that would be a great thing. I think you said one change if we don't have the entirety of it. I also wanted to ask about the landfill. Is there a plan in terms of what's going to happen when we do reach capacity? Because I know it takes some time.
Yeah, right now, the sanitary ad hoc of the county, which includes Supervisor Burrows, Supervisor Anger, we've been meeting to discuss some follow-up to the supervisors, which requested the transfer station analysis, in-depth analysis about the impacts of either having that transfer station assist from the landfill or on site of the landfill. So it is being explored. We expect to present to the board of supervisors by the end of the school year on the latest analysis.
And all this information can be just submitted to the county and to the cities, San Juan and Hollister, so we are a contributor and there's an impact on us.
We could certainly offer presentations to the cities as well if that is requested.
It's really requested. Thanks for Hollister, thank you. And then I know in the past we had a couple vacancies. How's it been filled?
The limited term recycling coordinator was funded through SE33, has not been filled. We are working with Human Resources Administration on filling that role. We also have a vacancy only for temporary staffing. So we were hoping to hire at least 2 temporary staff since they're at a service specialist level, or if we, over summers, interns could be their alternative. So both of those are filled regional agency positions.
And going back to transportation, is there, it's going to be a financial impact, or are we going to include in that decision process?
That has not, I think there's different avenues of how the rates would be acted. We've seen other counties adopt a property, they don't call it tax, but an infrastructure fee, and so we'd be presenting that to the board of supervisors for discussion and consideration.
Okay. How do cities are considered on the cost and potential impact of residents? I get that you're going to be presented to the supervisor, I get it. How is Hollister and Juan being incorporated to this decision process?
I think those discussions need to continue. It is not clear right now the county owns the landfill, so the county administers landfill programs, the rate increases, a transfer station, the discussion of a regional agency transfer station is not been discussed.
I'd like to make a recommendation. We actually have this as future agenda item for this group and come up with recommendations that we can pass along to administration and have go all to each of the cities so that we can start conversation about how are we coordinating this, because you're going where I'm going. Is I want to ask a quick question when you're done, how numbers remain.
And the reason is because we're also doing study and increase in fees for water for other areas. So residents going to see a double or triple impact on utilities or the quality of life in terms of water. And so this is just another addition to what we're doing. If it's going to go out to the residents to vote, or if it's going to be a large decision. And I think that doesn't City Hollister some of the bill.
There is a class 2 section, I apologize, class 1 section that is, that's what it is section.
And so how does that impact any other decision-making process for that?
With a landfill expansion, if that was to be considered again, there's discussion about closure of the landfill. If a portion clean closed, then it becomes a mobile space. But as time, the land expand discussion is hot.
I'd like us to be able to have this as, I know it's not the primary purpose of this group, but we can have a presentation to be able to make a recommendation as a group for the collaboration with cities and what that could like, and this body could make that recommendation to the board and to city of how we communicate, because it is coming sooner than later.
Thank you.
Mine were along the same line. I want to know how many 15 years, what is actually years, is 10? Are we down to 10?
Sanga Lewis, Lewis Engineering did a presentation at our last task meeting, and I believe she said it was 10
years.
6 years.
10.6 years. Okay, so the clock's ticking fast, and you know we are working on a sanitary ad meet time, so we'll have more. So maybe on the next agenda, this could be something we could, at least this body could get a recommendation of how to coordinate between jurisdictions. Okay, great. Anything else to update us on? Nope. And I see this is not for public comment, this is up to only, so no Blickman is here on item 3. Not permitted.
I call now permit items in 3.
Yeah, so that's not usual. I only open it up public on anything. So I'm just curious. I'm not sure why we aren't allowing public.
Our discussion with county council, we had discussed having the integrated waste staff announcement, the local task force, for instance, and public comment.
Okay, so there'll be public comment for anything that's on the agenda. Correct. Okay. Okay, so right, we're on number 4, which is integrated waste management local area task force member announcement. Do we have announcements? Announcements. I think you guys heard the majority of announcements. And my announcement was the sanitary solution talk is a date meeting that we hope to have information would be available to present. That was my base announcement. So moving on to public comment. So now you have to do the seal.
Integrated Waste Management Local Task Force encourages participation at this meeting and welcomes your comments. Speakers are requested to state their name prior to speaking to the committee. Not more than 3 minutes may be allotted to each speaker and no more than 20 minutes to each subject unless otherwise extended or limited by the chair. A speaker allotted time can be deferred to another speaker. Committee members may question the speaker, but there will be no debate or decision. Pursuant to Government Code Section 549, 5.4.2, no action or discussion shall be undertaken on the item not appearing on the proposed agenda. If appropriate, the chair or undertaken on any item not appearing on those agenda. If appropriate, I apologize. If appropriate, the chair or any committee member may direct that a matter be referred to the integrated waste management staff for review. If you are participating on Zoom, select Participants tab and click the raise hand icon. If you are using a phone, press *9, raise your hand. When your turn arrives, you will hear you have been muted at the time. State first name, last name, and county you reside in for the record. Do we have any public comment here in the audience? And we know public comment on Zoom as well.
Okay, seeing that we have no public comment, then we'll move on to consent. We have any consent, I'm sorry. I don't think we do. I don't see that we have any consent items. So now we'll move on to item number 7, which are presentations and discussion items. Item under number 5.1, we receive a presentation on Recology Benito 2025 annual highlight and our post content updates.
I'd like to bring up Adria Sagoon, Recology Zero Waste Manager.
Welcome.
Good afternoon, Councilmember Morales, Supervisor. Yes, give update on all last year's numbers, and quarterly we've been giving you numbers based on each year. This is the sum of the year we've done for the year. So our diversion rates, again, I know we've divided before, look at how much we're doing for landfill, seems to be the top, right? Currently, so when we let Hollister, 38.33% was our diversion rate for Hollister for the year of 2025. And San Juan Vista, of course, in the back still, 48%. And then the incorporated San Diego County, 31.7%. Together, San Diego County Integrated Waste Management Regional Agency was 36.39. Now, highlights for our residential for last year, and we can do tag for contamination in our customers with any contamination into their organics or their recycling bins. Continue print and digital ads. We have social media presence has continued to increase, and we've increased followers as well. And bin search, we work closely with integrated waste management to put together bin search and there's some newsletters, as you see here, a couple copy examples of newsletters, just different information we feel is relevant for time that we go out. Residential and commercial inserts that go out. Again, we have focus on quick responses, usual to customers. Any phones coming to our customer service line will quickly responded by myself and the team of the Zero team, and then also mention newsletters. So our commercial, again, focus on the larger amount. Last year, we had a total of 625 visits for the year. That's 625 different businesses were individually reached out in person. You know, one of my Zero team walking and talking to them. And at those 327 waste assessments, this is where they're going in, taking a look at and seeing where they can increase or reduce whichever is needed. Then we had 20. One of the results of all those visits is 27 organic parts, so organics. Again, that's with our increase in diversion rates. The number 80 departments are still 75% diversion rate. Obviously, they're usually pretty educated. We are doing, again, with integrated waste management, constantly in the know of what we're educating them on. ABA 26 compliance at 100%, recycling is good. SB 1383, still working, continuing. You can see 20 new organic starts, not mandatory at the moment, but work towards getting everybody, compliant for the future within organics. And then 8341, the mandatory recycling, again, currently 100% compliance. Events and community events and outreach. In Hollister, we were at 16 different community events. In Juan Bautista, we were at 7 different events. San Benito County, we have 4. Romas have 1. Now, these are events that help with monitoring, and as you can see the photos where we're out there making sure to the public, not only putting out sorting stations, 3 street stations, but we're teaching the public how to, and then also to manage as much as possible. So usually we have high, we average over 75% rate of diversion all of these events. Our in-kind donations are where we have different nonprofits that are requesting for our services. Donations went about $10,000 from 2024. Last year at $51,600. There are services like free carts, and just for large textile dumpsters and other things like that. Now, underway and coming up, January and May have January we had a couple of environment days. This is where we have free shredding. We also give away about 20 yards of clothes, and then also we have the electronic cycle. We try to do active, so we'll have one day at Argentina work in Hollister, and the following weekend in San Juan School. And so the first one already passed, and May we have next coming. We have our Race to Zero Waste school shop, which is here to this game for our contest. So we're at over 10, what do we do to this year? Yeah, we're over 15, we're at 18. Yeah. We're doing double what we've done past. Again, with integrated waste management. We have the Great San Juan Vista Street Festival, formerly known as the Arts Festival, coming as well. This will be at the end of the month. So this is our first large event that we will be out there monitoring. In April, we have our Day celebration, which Lori spoke earlier. So hope to see you out there, helping away prize for our contest winners. So again, our 2026 theme is Race Zero Waste. So then the thing, we go out and workshops, talk to the students about how to reduce garbage and the dirt from landfill, and increase compost and recycling. So far in the workshop we've done, this year we partnered with Holger Arsenmark, who's a local art studio. Coming now, she's been really well doing with artisans, students and teacher team. We've also, as mentioned at the U Expo and this Expo, also doing our post contest, and have students sit down and try to draw and work there. And then our final workshop will be March 12th, March 12th. So that's the end, the deadline ends. You know anybody in kindergarten through 12th grade, have them turn their entry. And then soon after that, we want to start the judging. We want us to judge week of March 30th. And I know Supervisor, you've in the past and mentioned showed interest in helping judge again. So we'll be reaching to you. We're looking at either 30th or 31st. So we'll reach you for availability. Council members, if you'd like to, we'll reach you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Open questions.
Before we open it to questions, let's open it up to public comment.
Integrated Waste Management Local Task Force encourage your participation at this meeting and welcome your comments. Speakers are requested to state their name prior to speaking to committee. Not more 3 minutes may be allotted to each speaker and more than 20 minutes to each subject unless otherwise extended or limited by the chair. A speaker allotted time cannot be deferred to another speaker. Committee members may question the speaker, but there will be no debate or decision pursuant to Government Code Section 4954. No action discussion shall be undertaken on any item not appearing on the posted agenda. If appropriate, the chair or any committee member may direct about your refer integrated waste management staff for review. If you are participating on Zoom, select the participants tab and click raise hand icon. If you are using a phone, press star 9 to raise your hand. When your turn arrives, you will hear that you've been unmuted. At this time, state name, your first name, last name, and county resign for the record. Do any public comment in chambers? So now, do we have any public comment on Zoom? We have public comment.
Okay, bringing it back to the board. Any comments, questions?
Comments. Thank you much for that. Presentation was very informative. I just want to say kudos on the rate of diversion, 70%, and I saw 100% on other outcomes there. I mean, something to be very proud of. I'm wondering, on the version that you mentioned between Hollister at 88.3, San Juan 48, and Benito County at 117, is there a practice, what is San Juan doing we could duplicate in Hollister?
One of the things that we've talked about is San Juan has ordinances where they do allow, especially at events, their special events, they do not allow single-use plastic and things, which makes a big difference at festivals where we have tens of thousands of people coming in and the weekend and just a lot of waste, that's in these concentrated events.
Work together on this. Integrates all works with ecology, and they all have an ordinance where you not sell bottles, plastic bottles on the streets when they have their festivals. Council members, I on last year's city council and asked who would like us to work on this with your city, but they have not back. Would love to because this creates a better diversion rate. That's what we're looking for. Adrian, not to you, like it's work. You know, they work 40 hours and then still work on weekends, help keep San Benito County clean and the cities as well. And so we'd be more than happy to work with you. And you know, Selena does not ask people to think if we do them do. So we have all gone out and garbled during the rest, and it's not easy. Let me tell you, we're pulling stuff out and we're sorting it, but you know, at least we know how hard it is when we ask other people to do it. And so we're more than happy to have these conversations with the city of Hollister.
Well, I'm not looking for conversation, I'm looking for a list of ordinances that are good effective in terms of the version, and
I'll share those with you.
put them on the agenda for us to discuss, so we can take action.
I'd love to have a presentation on that with you.
Yeah, so, Santa, or if you, I'd like to see a BOs,
Yes.
I'd like to do some research and be able to, councilors can items to the end of action. I like more of the conversation at action plan. Just want to say, thank you, know that some of the, that you older are really effective. I'm wondering if I can work closely with your team on some of the neighborhoods that I've seen that have a lot of large items on the street that to be picked up. Do appreciate it. It's really nice to go to different apartment complex and pick up. I know it's really challenging, folks. And believe it or not, I saw a video on social media. It's very cute. I loved it. I'm sorry. It's very effective, informative, and I think people are recognizing that they can actually do something. And it is them to make a call and items get picked up. Kudos to your team on being so creative and innovative.
So my questions are similar in the sense that we have a county ordinance on anything like this to increase our diversion rates. So if there's something that's come out through this, I'd really like to hear that. and I do a future agenda item that bring that forward for consideration. So if you can share with us, that would be great. The other thing is that SB 1883, the ongoing, and do we have like a master plan on SB 1883 and how we're going to be moving forward with it? Is there some sort of like a timeline and?
We had an original timeline about 2 years working with Arthur Rose, going to be putting a moment. So at this point, we're meeting Rose tomorrow to talk about our updated timeline and how it doesn't sound like there's going to continue SB to fund. However, we do have funding from the franchise agreement from our exclusive pillars. How can we use that to continue clients? So we'll be meeting, discuss that with Rose and put the timeline. We'd be happy to present that. Yeah.
And we previously discussed consideration of, there are still in South County, a lot of residents that they have to kind of their own way with a dumpster or they haul their own trash, whatever it may be. Is there any consideration of having consideration of extending the route slightly more south where it is currently?
Not necessarily for discussion day, but as we're looking at franchise agreement for college, that's something that we want to look at.
So working that on the forefront would be great. Okay, that moves on to I believe item 5.2, which is the franchise agreement life cycle background and format review. And I believe from what was posted, we have a new update.
Yes.
And so we have a copy on the tape here, or
We do. We actually have lots of these up here, different items that pertain to this.
if anyone would like to have the presentation available, it's,
So this presentation has not been updated.
This
It is
wasn't.
later presentation related to the budget.
okay, I wanted to make sure I was right when it was being updated, my apologies. So, okay, so take it.
Before we start, I just want to let everybody know that there's a handout for the fine workshop or the ecology contest, so we have them. And if anybody needs to be in the audience, we can get to you.
I'm assuming it's this one.
Yes, it is that one.
And I have to tell you, the talent is amazing. These kids are so talented. Being on the judges list is very difficult. And glad you're going to join because I was challenged actually to like say, okay, everybody cannot. It is hard. There's really talented kids out there.
And show them appreciation by putting their posters at early. Okay, so next I would like to bring up Rose Ratter, who is principal at R3 for the Friends Degree Life Cycle Background Performance Review.
All right, good evening. You last heard from me about SB 1383, and I'm here. This is not very loud.
Not very good. You get kind of close to it.
Yeah, so thank you for having me back. So R3, just a reminder for the audience perhaps, we do only solid waste consulting, we only work with cities, counties, states, local agencies. So we're specialists in this and work statewide in California, doing all kinds of things, including performance reviews of solid hauls, also negotiations and comparative procurement agencies. So that's the topic of today's conversation. So about this time last year, we initiated a performance review of ecology. We're ready now to report on the outcomes of that, and then also to prepare you all for the future of franchise agreement with ecology, and then I'll discuss next steps. So we had a lot of findings and recommendations, most of which are not important for your purposes. We all found that operations are good, well managed, the drivers and customer service are professional, and we found only a few things that were adverse findings. Of note, we did have an over-reporting on recycling organic tonnages when we looked back at the back documentation. That's incorrect, and more will coming soon on that. There are some vehicles that are running over the legal load limit. And that affects both safety for the harder to brake the trucks and also affect the roads more. So we're working with ecology in that, seeing if we can identify which route we're going over way more often and if there are changes that might be needed to make sure that doesn't happen moving forward. We're looking at ecology's frequency site visits, working actively with them on increasing that, which is going to improve diversion outcomes as well. We're looking at Spanish language customer service representatives. They do have service represent, but we want to make it accessible to go directly into Spanish language only option. Container replacement and do serve initiation is a little lower than we would want to see, so working with ecology in that, and then also textile collection program that's described. So that's like used clothes, for example. There's a program that's described in the franchise agreement, and so we're looking at getting that started up again. Ecology, we were very great, very cooperative in the entire course review, and so we appreciated on that, and also very receptive to all our findings. So now to kind of talk about your franchise agreement. So this is one of the largest dollar value contracts that local agents have, and that's the case for you all here too. It's a 10-year term contract, and that's because the equipment that they use basically mostly truck depreciate over a period of years. So they're able to offer they use that same truck that they purchase the entire term length of the contract. There is an option to mutually agree to extend twice for 2 years each. That's in your contract. We're encouraging you to consider other pathways that, all that remains an option. Again, recall you need to agree to that. And a reminder on SB 1383, we must talk about the law, we talked about aspects that the agents are already required to comply with, and that's mostly on the agency side and less on the collection operation. Adrian, during his presentation, had mentioned that S1383 is still kind of pending law, and so cities and counties not adopted mandatory requirements to participate in organic collection, and that will require once the rural exemption ends. That also really will affect what your franchise agreement looks like at the point in time. That's, you would ask about times, it's a significant time consideration. So you've got basically 9 years after the expiration of your existing franchise agreement before the initiation of SB 1383 full collection service requirement. And that's 11 years from now. We don't know what's going to happen. In the meantime, there's actually a lot of laws being passed that are amending as 1383 sort of continuously. And so encouraging you not to try to push too far ahead of what's going to happen with rural exemption. And the timeline does seem very convenient. So what we're recommending kind of broadly, and this is when it calls even points, just things that we're starting to think about as the franchise agreement is coming up to expiration date, is address the areas of non-compliance that we found, and potentially look a little bit at exclusivity vision. You have a number of non-exclusive franchised permitted haulers that act in the county, mostly hauling MSW and construction demolition debris. So there's some ways that exclusivity provisions in your contract are sort of uniquely worded. The SB 1383 talked about, and potentially looking at modernizing some aspects of contract, because you're looking at potentially another 10-year term. Another thing I want to just put in on this, because the future of the landfill affects customer rates, like your constituents' rates, because it affects their garbage bill. At the end of the day, what recall is charged has a component in it paid for recall dump fees at the landfill. So even the existing contract contemplates an increase or change in those tipping fees, whether that's at the landfill or at another location, and builds in compensation for the hauler through the resetting process. So we're about to be entering the resetting process right now. Ecology's rate application is due April 1st. There's a Proposition 2 noting process, 5 notices now up, but this is here, sort of topical right now. But in general, this is our general side. We're going to work backward from when the collection service contractor needs to boots on the ground start. You want to give them at least a year before their start date so that they can purchase equipment, get their staff in order, and everything like that. So the lead time of at least a year before the commencement of service. You can compress that down maybe 6 months, but here's my deal. That's probably because the supply chains for the equipment are international, and there are sometimes significant delays in ordering the equipment they need to provide service. So you want to give them enough time so you're not starting service with old trucks. So you've got a year already. Then you also want to have it 6 months, ideally longer, for a competitive procurement process to be, as I suppose, as well executed as possible. Your situation is complex. Your franchise agreement is jointly held by 3 different agencies. They each may have slightly different considerations and needs. So, and we've been talking about what our city's role in making decisions about transfer station. Well, this is a jointly held franchise agreement as well. So, I would anticipate especially a competitive procurement process, to be pretty complicated and difficult. I would definitely recommend having consultant assistance, and it's expensive, right? So then I guess getting too close to where we are right now, the time with about 2.5 years out. We do generally 3 the company recommend, especially when you have a cooperative contract that you have a relationship with, entertain negotiations on a source basis, see what they offer to you. I can't say whether it's going to be a package that we end up being in the position of recommending you agree to at this point in time, and not even asking you necessarily to take action, right? But we are saying that probably is a good idea to just sit down at the table with them, find out what you may be able to get in an offer before considering going out with a competitive bid. All right, you see how much of this I did cover on the prior slide. And 6 months, 18 timing holidays. All right, so next steps. As I mentioned, no action required today. We are requesting you see us again before the next regular scheduled LTF meeting. Because I have some other follow-ups that pending information from radiology. We want to just have everything together for you to consider at the same time. To prepare you now for the next meeting, hopefully shorter presentation related to adjustments in the performance review and impacts associated with those. And we will be requesting that LTF provide a recommendation for us and bring to the cities in the county for duration to potentially use sole source negotiation with Recology, again with no anticipation necessary that we would end up recommending extension or not. Just depending on that comes that negotiation. So with that, I'm happy to take any questions.
Before we go to our questions, open it up public comment.
So we'll receive
public comment first by Zoom. After that, the public comments we can in chambers. Do we have a public comment on Zoom? Do we have any public comment in chambers? There's no public comment.
Okay, bring back comments, questions?
So I might have, but I didn't see the report attached.
The report actually is not finalized yet. We have the outcomes from the performance review, but don't have final report.
I didn't see the outcomes to the agenda today.
So these are the important findings that we're finding slide.
Looking forward to seeing a bit of that, what you have. So you talked about non-compliance, MSW.
It's municipal solid waste, otherwise known as garbage.
So the tons of acronyms everywhere,
sorry.
energy, water, tons of stuff, could be a thing. So two items that you talked about, SW construction debris, the recommendations in terms of we can move forward and how we talk to construction companies or unions or organizations where we could have recommendations in terms of what to do and anything else. Is that going to include in the report?
It's not included in the performance review report. In terms of like having a concrete recommendation right now, I don't have ready for you.
Okay, but you'll have that right next time?
It's not during next meeting. I'm gonna make sure that we have done the research you've just mentioned before providing thing for your comments.
So as you do research, make sure you reach out to the Buildings Council, because they represent all unions, all 27 unions that construction, so I'd like that to be considered and included in the report. You talk about Excel, which is closed, and we see documentaries also, so can you, next report, can you elaborate in terms of what we're doing? There's grants, there's state organizations that have specific about carb recycling. Is idea or anything like that? Maybe you can elaborate on that. Now or later, it doesn't matter.
We do reach out to local recyclers to talk about the carpet recycling program. I believe more recently we worked with RR to expand the program. And I believe they're now taking carpet as part of that stewardship program. Under agents that we reach out to and offer recycling as well.
But one of our commissioners, Steve Long, is a state commissioner that deals with cycling, carb recycling programs. So he's appointed at the state level. You might want to chat to him. So I think with public funds, so that you said, potential recommendation to come back to a sole source, there's opportunity for us to extend 2 extensions, potentially 1 year. Years, okay, year extensions, potentially 4 years, so the 14-year life cycle. I think when do we to make a decision in terms of sole source versus just competitive, that we have that decision coming up? Because you're absolutely right. In order for anybody considering, there has to be plenty of time to get up to speed. These are public ones with the ability of the community to be able to bid diverse, competitive, open access. So,
So we have developed a tentative timeline that contemplates completing sole source negotiations, whether that result in an extension or the decision to go out to bid by November this year.
November this year, coming up.
And then after that, because you do have a regular uncalled WM access to consultant, which happens currently me, where you would have enough money to be able to do sole source negotiations, but recommending if you do go out bid that you should first release an RFP for consultant services. So that's the reason that it's like, it feels late even we have to have just.
Wondering why consultant service to do procurement process.
I mean,
That's not really common in other jurisdictions.
I think it's very common for franchise agreements.
Okay.
They're very complex agreements. No one on our staff has been part of procurement for a franchise agreement. I was hired on 7 years ago, right at the start of implementing the franchise agreement at that time. Regional agency members had consulted with CG Consulting to perform the procurement process. Do you want anything else?
yeah, I mean, I would say like the biggest view position really is that, again, these contracts come up every 10, 15 years. So the local agency staff not necessarily going, even if you participated in the procurement process from 10 years ago, things have changed in the meantime. And whereas like I'm a part of negotiation like 5 different agencies currently. And so I'll be able to basically help you like stand face to face with these national garbage companies that also do that every single day.
Gotcha. Okay, so we talked about 83 to 83, that you 7 years, but in years from now, so we're looking 2036, where the Rule 7 will be really an option. It's going to be mandatory. If there were policy or lobbying efforts that to be made, would you be able to outline what would be? Obviously, money, but anything else?
Yeah, so IW is being pretty active with the Rural County Association, and they have been pushing for legislative fixes that relate to the rural exemption, including the one that extended it for the period it's currently extended. And so I'm not aware of any related regulations right now for rural exemption, but we're monitoring that. And I think, yeah, I mean, SB 1383 implementation is expensive. Like, we look at like 20-30%. rate increase in some cases or other jurisdictions as we're looking at rolling out S1383. I don't think that would be the case partially because your existing franchise agreement is extremely forward-looking in terms of diversion outcomes, probably because landfill is so like prominent, right? Like you have this incoming landfill that's really important to try to keep open as long as you can, and the diversion here feels very personal, I think.
So the reason I say that is because both Supervisor Kuro and I do have those relationships at the state level. We're looking at a lot of financial challenges just now, but specifically 3 years from now. And so this is just another mandate that didn't have funding attached to it, which we come into the account, but all of us that would pay for. And again, our residents are seeing increases in every CG and water, double or triple rate. So it comes the quality of life or just being able to afford the issue. And so I think as we communicate to our legislators, we need, or I guess we're asking for direction, provide a white paper to be able to advocate what are the things we are looking for from our legislators, whether relief or funding, which I don't know if we're going to get relief for potentially another years to see if they change at the state federal level. I just can't see that we're going to take on potentially a 27, 30% increase anything with the other say utilities, but there are other options that we'll have who are not going to be able to live.
I can't agree more with that comment on the white paper. And talk points and pretty much stories about how this is going to impact the every person in San Benito County. Being able to take that story to the state and say, look, here's where our challenges are. We aren't going to be able to afford this. We're going to bankrupt our county, loan our cities. So I have several questions. I have so many questions I don't even know where to start. And I'm really sorry this meeting along, but you mentioned that the performance review is not final. I'd love to have had this linked to the agenda to be able to have more of that information. It don't see linked on right now. I'm there. Did I miss that?
It's on presentation, so we combining all of the.
All in one. Every time I open it says no preview available. File is in owner's trash. That it says every time I open it. That's why I had it. That's why I'm a little like, whoa, okay. So that's the number one. Not sure why that's happening, but
Yeah, we'll look at that.
no, that's from the Allen Bite. That Outlook Bite. I went to the website, pull it off there, and I had bulls too. It had old agenda, not the new agenda link when I went to the task force website. So we're not going to solve it tonight. But in this performance review, you commented there's overrewarding diversion. Is recycled diversion? Or compost, both? And then over the legal load limit, way at landfill and reported to.
Yes, so every truck that goes over the landfill scales is individually weighed, has a gold limit and a tare rate. And so what we did to come to that conclusion is that we reviewed the individual digital records of each of those weights at the landfill.
And do we have thing in our franchise agreement when that these sort of things occur about what happens for us as the ratepayers? The reason I'm saying is, and please don't take this the wrong way, our roads are in bad enough shape. We're having trucks out that are over the limit. Then there are fines or things that we have in place to prevent these things or to deter these things from happening. If it's just one question, that could be in your final report. I mentioned the replication is due April 1st, and this is feels like a collision of so many things at one time, including the conversation about landfill and the expansions of transfer station, and really having clear, concise information that gives you the everyday person. How is this going to affect the rates? If we can't bring this information to a point, being able to say, we not expand landfill and go to a transfer station, it's going to cost us this. But then on top of it, we have the increases in the 1383 costs and all the other things. So I'm feeling like really need to have kind of a comprehensive understanding, be able to explain it to public. You mentioned a Prop 218. Now, there's a law in Prop 218. Is there a vote to the voters?
The majority protest for good trade.
Okay.
So
You want them, I can't hear you, sorry.
Prop 218 requires you have 50 plus 1 vote against the proposal.
So it is the voters.
Well, if
Or
you
is it vote of
protest,
the users?
yes, protest against increasing rates. You don't vote yes, want it or no, want it, I don't want. You just receive people vote against it. Yeah.
So basically, the rates are going to increase, but if there was an uprising and people didn't want it, they could sign saying that they do not want rate increases. And if we get 50% plus 1, then
Cannot increase it.
we pay it.
No. It's back to a revision and you can run up to it again.
Okay. So it's
So want to consider renters to vote, our owners to vote. It's only personal individuals owns the property, not renters.
this is going to be fun.
But yes, the rest.
I'm going to put this together, houses all come together, and how it's going to be explained to public. I mean, this is a huge undertaking. Okay, what's the review process how do we coordinate with the city in a franchise agreement? This is, I'm a first year, this is my first full year. I'm a newbie, so I'm trying to wrap my head around how do we coordinate this with cities? Is it like you meet with cities and the city's needs and the city's concerns, they kind of give their concerns, and that's all brought together in a recommendation? Kind of like what was called. Right, okay. So I'm trying to see if this is gonna work. And you put the landfill or the lack thereof landfill could change everything. So you're just building onto each other. I have a really hard time with anything that's sole sourced. We have a 2-year time option or 2-year extension, which would be 4 years. Do we have rate built into that 2-year extension, or is that part of the reapplication process?
We're so excited to bring it come related to the rate setting process for the special meeting, and hoping that your views will be very, very swayed by
So
what
the
it would.
special LTF meeting is between now and next meeting. Do we, that you mentioned a special LTF meeting?
Yes, hoping to have a special LF meeting for this item as well as the interpretation review permitting either early April or late March.
Okay, because I see how collaboration, communication between the jurisdictions is going to be imperative, and cannot have it not be completely transparent.
So let me just
Right?
open, the step is, first step that we're recommending is
Can we turn just a little bit away so I can see a little better, because we have the slide? Okay, perfect, thank you.
So the first staff recommendation is that we come back to LTF with the results of the rate application and the input to the rate, and then would be either discussing negotiating for 4 months and recommending that we're going to proceed in a source with radiology, negotiate, and these be invitation to the city council and board of supervisors to confirm that we're getting their blessing to proceed with negotiations. So it'd be a recommendation from the LTF and ultimately confirmation from the cities and counties to negotiate. Then we would coming back to the LTF with the results negotiation, and from there we'd be making a recommendation whether to negotiate or to extend 2 years or to 1 term to start, or it wasn't negotiations, let's proceed with competitive permit.
So, sorry to interrupt. So if we're, because this is a franchise, if, let's say, City of Hollister and the county and Benito agree that we need to go out for bid, we need to do procurement process, San Mateo doesn't, San Mateo just right along with us, how is it coordinated between the three? We are all in agreement.
Request, can you clarify what you mean about the request?
So jurisdictions do request information to see prior to any source, like we just wanted an environmental scan of whether agencies can actually do this work, right? Because you have 100 that do the exact same work, then you can't do full source. But if you go and say do the environmental scan and there's only 1, then there you go.
Yeah, and we have the information from the prior competitive procurement, which that
That was a long time ago.
Yeah,
It was
recall these
10 years ago.
Right, and
Things
that was, you're correct, like, they do change over time for it. So our intention would be, if authorized to do source negotiations with Recology during that process, we would also be gathering information, so that when come for, the recommendation, whether it's to sign an extension with Recology to go out bid, it would all be bringing information like what the potential other proposers might, although we already know, we have a pretty good sense. What the rates are, your rates are in comparison to other similar communities in the area and statewide. So rate comparison, and see, I think I have my notes in front of me, but the intent would be have at a point in time all the information the officials need to make the most informed decision for your constituent.
So saying you're doing environmental scan at that point?
We'd be doing that at the same time.
Okay, because I know there are jurisdictions, and I'll also brief about healthcare and government organizations and contract, and it's in the employees' agreement. Like HIE, for example, they have up their rates, right? Until you're to negotiate a different rate, goes up bid, then the care provider can renegotiate the rate, oftentimes significantly less that they're currently asked for. So that's an effect doing an RFI or environmental scan, but even if you are the provider, the fact we are going for RFP normally says when you write an order not to do, which is what you're talking about. I think I want to see before you make a recommendation for sole source, like see that environmental scan or the FI or the research, whatever you call it, prior to that, because I think absent that, then it'll be really hard for you. And honestly, I want time to be wasted and people to spend money that we do in terms of their communities.
Yeah, so we can look into trying to fast track thing for the special meeting too, because I think the more information you had earlier, the better. So let's look at if nearby jurisdictions did, for example, hire a consultant, see how much cost them for competitive procurement, and also what terms are for their franchise agreement. Knew that there wasn't a bullet and found it. So see how much we can get together for this next meeting.
And I'm assuming, because we are such a cash poor community, Anything been done by other jurisdictions have franchise agreements would be some sort, if it's done recently, if there could be a piggyback process, that could help could do RFI, but then piggyback on, not say it, a big county has money and staff and has the ability to put into it, because where I'm at now, your contract as consultant with integrated waste management right now has only certain points, and that would potentially that negotiations of sort. Well, if we decide we're not to do that negotiation, then we need to be looking at not only an RFI for the process, but an RFI for a consultant, because we need to competitive that. This is so glad you're here today. I can't tell you, last year was a cakewalk. This is going to be lots of decision-making recommendations. And this is the only way we're going to get this over the finish line is a good relationship, both of the cities, to be able to look out for, as always, best interest for our constituents, because that's the bottom line. All we're doing is trying to ensure we do not waste taxpayer dollars.
I'd like to see the environmental plan for agency provide the actual, it's not just the salt, but the actual service.
Does that make sense, everybody?
It's going to be really hard to figure out what the total contract value is, if that's what you're asking. So like, typically the entire book business for, you can put in information requests and see, typically the agencies don't necessarily have easy access to the information. I do.
Everything that you guys have brought to us today, very eye-opening. I'm super happy that you are both here, because it highlights the importance of we're going to have our plate over the next several months, even just what we're going to back to. So had some more stuff. I know that work is going to be coming for us. That's the report we need. Then decision gives direction. This was really just open conversation, correct? We have an action item on this. We're not making any direction unless there's something I missed.
We are hoping to schedule the special date that can wait for one of the final items. Catherine will be going for the Mr. calendar.
Yes, 3, right? Yeah, okay, that'll be at the end. We'll that one. Is there anything else you have to add for? I really like this type of diagram. I'm a visual person, so if I have that emailed to me, that would be great, because it helped me visually process all the things that we have to do. I'm glad we at least have the members, because we've been working together for a year. Feel like a good team, and we can try and build through this together. So thank you so much for presenting. I don't have any additional questions right now. I will one comment, don't want a job. That's all I'm gonna say. Keep this job, no matter what.
We love our job. We love our job.
Yes, you can, yeah, keep going there. Okay, now if I am on the correct agenda item, we're on item 5, which is review the integrated management regional and quarterly expenditures.
Yes, I'd like to invite Integrated Waste Manager Selena Stotler.
Okay, hello again. I will be providing a summary of our regional agency expenditures date this year, which began on July 1st of 25. As a reminder, the Integrated Waste Management Regional Agency Joint Powers Agreement, this will task force is review actual expenditures at least quarterly and make recommendations to the governing body on any actual or anticipated over expenditures. I'm happy to report there are no over expenditures at the time. The following slide provides a comparison of budgeted expenses, an approximate total of 1.7 million to actual expenses at approximately 590,000. You have been provided with printed copies of the detailed general ledger report with revenue details and separately budget performance report, both pulled by our staff specialist estimate on March 5th. These reports are also attached to today's agenda. Printed copies of reports available for the public at the table in front of the dais. Moving on to regional agency revenue, you can see here totally 562,000 budgeted for the regional agency programs. It includes the various grants awarded to the regional agency in addition to household hazardous waste funding and recycle payments from our exclusive polar quality. The miscellaneous revenues include reimbursement payments for the mattress recycling council's legally mattress collection initiatives. For every legally mattress, we're getting about $20 on the regional agency area. This revenue is deducted from any grant or program-related expenditures. So in other words, the cities and county would not bill for any associated grant cost per regional agency's cost sharing agreement. And that includes our quarterly expenditure data. I'm happy to answer any questions related to the reports.
Okay, before we questions, let's open up to public comment.
Do we have any public comment in chambers? We have public comments. We have a public comment.
Okay, bring it back. Any questions? Right ahead.
I just want to say thank you to Team for recognizing the expenditures and revenue. So kudos to you, and I think it's easy to see, easy to understand at a glance. So thank you. By the way, it's often. So thank you very much for doing that work. It is greatly appreciated.
I thank you so much to your person to please. This was work in progress from we were. I know we still have it to improve. I know the CEO had comments of how budget process changed a little bit this year. But there's a couple questions that I want to understand. I'm looking at budget preference report that is through March 5th of 2026, including the roll-up accounts and the roll-up base. Can you help me understand under revenues why year to date we would have negatives under the year-to-date transactions? This would under like 562.906 charges, fees for the city of Worcester. Did we prediction what we were going to get in revenue? And then it's paid one of six. And it would be the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 column over called YTD transactions.
Are you looking at the charts for service, Hollister, San Juan?
Yeah, Hollister, San Juan, San Benito Regional Agency, 25,000 negative.
This is the delayed thing, and the rules were less than the receivables, and still have bill this fiscal year, so it would accrue at the end. As correct, but the bill that occurred in for fiscal year 425, the accruals that we did were actually more than what we received, and so that's why you're seeing the negative is my understanding, and also you're not seeing the revenue coming in from the regional agency members that we have accrued that revenue.
Okay. These are the things when you see negatives in your dates on revenue generation, typically it just a red flag me.
You also notice some of granting, it shows budgeted, but it's not even received. A lot of funding that has been received, we'll be working with MA to, I assume it's incur that, and then for revenue that has not been received, that we're expecting to get several months between April and May.
So you have a revenue collection that's stating it's like invoice that hasn't been paid in your revenue account. So just making sure that, because the report I love if we can completely understand how the number work, because when you have, we've gone from an Excel, was you guys spent way too much staff time on Excel. So just a little street where these in our meeting here, our CEO Esposa Colio and our council Primos, what they used to do is everything in Excel and then present it to, but it's a merge of a whole bunch of information. What we tried last year, don't do that. Let's put it in budget the way it needs to be. So you just run a budget performance report, and if you have stating revenue collection batches, you know what those are, those invoices go out, and you can be able to show us where our bottom line is. Because to me, this is more transparent than the Excel that you can provide to the public. It's just kind of know how to read it. Okay, all right.
That's key. Also how to read
You
it.
know how to read.
Yes, and most grants, you have to keep in mind that most of the grants are on a reimbursement basis. You don't get the funding immediately. Sometimes it takes months to get the fund back.
That's why I like them being in staying revenues, because you need to be able to document that in your next round, because it has to go back that original fiscal year. You can't say, oh, we didn't get this year, it's going in next year. No. It was back the year that was supposed to be in. Okay, Smithy? Yeah, another time, CEO. I think this is great. I have no further questions on, I just want you guys to kind of see what I'm looking at when looking at the report, so that if you have to not come in, you know what those are, and you can kind of view out. We have received this rev collection from X, Y, and Z. We've invoiced it. We're about to invoice it. Okay. Any further questions or comments?
Comments of the county is we are totally utilizing revenues coming and we can't properly report. This is for CO. Esperanza. I 3 glass, so I see anymore. Is there, we're not maximizing our ability to down those funds, and we're not getting people more that we need in order to do the work. So what's that balance? Both drawing down funds and the ability to do work. So that'll be one for us. I highly again encourage county to hire people, especially if they're paid grant funds. That's revenue that's coming from your general fund for services that are needed for residents. And
Yes, I'm working on it. What I'm trying to do for this county is to make a very transparent process. And what I mean is going through a process of recruiting process, a recruitment process. Rather than bring people back over and over again, but we're going to allow people to apply for the position and bring it to work with us. And so we are in that conversation.
these positions were last year. So unless recruits are yours,
No,
then,
no, that's
then it's another issue, right?
Yes, last year was a difficult year to be able to finalize budget because we sort of understanding how each of the one program works, but they said I have a very clear understanding. If they not to have a budget officer, I don't only have a budget officer. The difference is each of the departments are not identifying exactly how their funding works, so we can that out that they're between here. And talking about maybe a few months ago, 4 6 months ago when I came up with.
Thank you. And then what are the timelines for your hiring process?
I think SNL, they already have that one.
Might be inbox, I might have missed. Yeah.
I think by next meeting, hopefully the positions will be.
Yes.
Great, thank you.
Okay, anything else to add? Nope, we're moving on. Okay, so we're moving on 5-4, which is, I missed something. The fiscal year 2020 recommended,
Next, we will be reviewing the draft recommended regional agents budget for fiscal year 26-27. But before we begin, there are copies of the presentation in the back table. We did some changes to new information received. Are recommending an additional meeting in March or early June can be part of a special meeting related to the franchise agreement life cycle. At this time, we're only able to provide estimates for workers' OBEB charges, share plan charges, salaries. We have not received the numbers from county staff. So today's meeting, we use answer any questions you have and gather feedback so that we may incorporate it into the final proposed recommended budget. As a refresher, the regional agency members share costs operating integrated waste management regional agency function. The county will perform services required for the cost sharing agreement, bill the city and the counties for their proportionate shares. The local task force shall serve as an advisory committee to San Benito County Integrated Waste Management Regional Agency and review annual budget. This is a list of our summarized program services provided to cities in the county, and these include state reporting and applications, administration, contract management of the exclusive ecology franchise agreement and the non-exclusive franchise permits, household hazardous waste program, small quantity generate program, the business education program, youth and outreach, as well as school recycling initiatives, illegal dumping abatement and program coordination, support, cycling, the market, cycling development zone program, and general publication outreach, name of the Elected members of the local task force are responsible for forwarding the final recommended budget to their respective bodies for approval, and we do forward to the local task members, including our managers and assistant city manager staff. To facilitate the review, the county will submit proposed budget to the local task force later in April, proceed the fiscal year of proposed expenditure. So for you, this is a comparison of last year's approved expenses. It's not billable expenses, just approved. You will see an increase because of a grant that we received, expected to be awarded October 26, and will be reimbursement based. So for our draft recommended expenses is approximately $1,920,659. That includes the services supplies, charges, as well as salary and benefits. As I mentioned, there's a lot of estimates in there for salaries and the workers' comp and cost plans this time. This is our budget, staffing budget. You were paying 50% of my position, integrated waste manager, 50% of Catherine's position, staff analyst, and 100% of our resource in recycling recovery coordinator, Frankie Sanchez. He's focused on abatement, illegal dumping efforts. That's something this LDF prior years had wanted to work on together and improve, so that position fund. We also had limited term recycling coordinator position where funding was through November 2nd of 2026. And they're recommending to LTF, to the cities and county supervisors to continue funding this position because there is funding available between our RA member sharing costs and would focus on S1383 compliance. We have our staff specialist, Lori Tasley, as focusing on our school outreach, our green business program, a lot of business coordination outreach with ecology and just general customer service. And then our second staff service specialist, 8% is funded, that is Esmeralda, does also our king for other integrated waste funds, and that's why you see her at 80%. And then the board had, or this local task force had previously approved 100,000 temporary staffing. We were intending to use that intern or for additional service specialist support. This slide before you show the revenue that is approved, expected in fiscal year 26-27 in total revenue is 665,000. And that additional revenue is coming from the household hazardous waste that you see before you. There are grants we're receiving from our recycle mode, which are payment program grants. So we receive them today. It's not reimbursed as long as we have to pay things back. It includes the S1383 local assistance grant, 200,000. We have till November 2nd of next 2020 to spend it. We only spent about 40,000 of that because of the unpositioned. And ecology, we've got Bristol Day revenue at 32,000, household hazardous waste revenue at 280,000. These are payments directly to the regional agency, not to the city or the county, for regional agency programs, and they're showing fully fund our quarterly item event at the landfill. We've been able to expand to MFD to pilot bulky pickups at type indwelling units. And then they fully cover our hazardous waste events at the landfill, as well as the new quarterly Bristol Day event at our office parking lot, the risk management agency. Lastly, we have increased the MRC legally mattress collection initiative payments from $1,000 to $1,000. These are payments that every legally dumped mattress, which ranges $50 to $20 per mattress. It's taking the landfill. So per the sharing agreement, revenue is deducted for total expenditures, and as a result, total billable expenses to the regional agency would be $1,263,659. This is very similar to the pre-billable expenses from last current fiscal year, which were $1,215,609. And here's a breakdown of the billable expenses to regional agency member. Each jurisdiction is billed based on population size for the cost sharing agreement, and this is dated annually based on the State's Department of Finance population estimates. You see the C5.1% for Hollister, 3.1% for San Benito County is 31.8%. These are the population estimates for 2025 is now available. So we will update that when you receive the updated recommended budget at our special meeting, but it will only change by 8%. We'll only see it plugged up on percent two for each jurisdiction. So Hollister's portion of the bill expense would be $892,602. San Batista would be $39,173, and San Benito County would be $101,844. The regional agency billing. Also printed and provided to you as part of your budget packet is the ecology revenue report for 2025. Per the 2018 exclusive branch agreement, ecology support payments to each jurisdiction include franchise payment, AB99 payments, or abatement payments. This fund can use to fully cover each jurisdiction costs of the regional agency program. So you are not using any of your general funding other than this regional agency. And slide does not include the non-exclusive franchise revenue. Catherine adhered to those numbers in the staff announcements. We'll continue to report them on a quarterly basis or quarterly meeting basis, but these only reflect the exclusive franchise revenue for ecology. For next, we're recommending a digital meeting in late March, early April for the local task force to take action by recommending the final proposed budget. At this time, we've again only been able to provide estimates for workers' comp, charges, cost plan charges, and salaries. For today, hoping to receive recommendation, input from this local task force. We will be incorporating those recommendations for a final proposed budget, bring back to local task force, special meeting ideally early March or late March or early April. And apologize, these are listed one and one, but the after budget gets approved, City of Leicester, City of Matisse local task force members will forward a final recommended budget to their respective governments for in April. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Let's open it to public comment before we bring back for our comment questions.
We'll now see public comment first by Zoom, and after that time, public comment can be taken in the chambers. Do we have anybody on? Do we have any public comment in chambers? No public comment.
Okay, no public comment. Any comment?
Thank you for the report. We go back to the regional agency revenue. So, as I know you assured us that we're going to get those hired. So let's say that you have the folks full-time, and we've only $40,000, you have 2 years. Is that fiscal year or the grant, or, and then when is it higher? And are we really going to be giving back $160,000?
Great question. The total grant amount for S1383, which funding already been received, that was about 106,000, 185,000. We've spent, apologize, actually more than 4,000 over the last 2 years. We did 20,000 this year to spend. It included funding the midterm recycling coordinator, as well as the food resource manager. The position has been vacant for a long time, when it was just filled, I believe, 2 weeks ago, last week. And we are expecting to spend more of them this fiscal year, but we do expect about 108,000 to be remaining about that position being filled. And we're exploring use of funds with R3 tomorrow. So maybe more than 100, but we do to reserve some of them for specific year to continue to fund limit term recycling quarter that's been filled.
So I would like to see a copy of what is the strategy to send down this zero? Because what do you get to, there's a state federal government or another grant, already does not good for the organization, and they're not really to provide additional funding in the future, especially if it's kind of, this could pass through or an entitlement grant, but still, it's not good for the receiving organization because it means a lot of things I want to say now. So it's something that can get in the county. Okay.
Anything else?
Any comments from the county? Will we be able to get a plan to spend down?
Absolutely, I charge her.
But need administrative approval. So she can provide, all the recommendations she wants. It's the administration that actually allows and
Well,
holds the purse.
this case, this is a standalone, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. The Senate you, so you can review it, and then after you review, I review it as well. Yes, you have to review it first, then the she's bring you.
I think the clarification, if I may, the clarification they're looking for is, are we at risk of giving money to this federal
I'm
government
sure
on
we'll
grant?
have to have a conversation with Sonia, a separate item. We can discuss that issue, and then if granted, we can contact the state to that, if we can extend it to the contract, other things we need to first.
Or there a way that it can be, if the grant allows for it, this was an interim position, not a permanent position, correct?
It was limited, we expressed to administration in prior years as we were going through this for Esperanza time, but that could fund it without SB 1083 funding, but we were hoping to start as a granted position, and HR determined because the budget got limited term position this time. But our recommendation right now is to use that funding up to November 2nd of 2026, continue funding this through regional AC revenue.
It'll be stream fund. We just need to put together the numbers to be able to see if they start until November.
And I think the question is, just do not, whatever we do not want to giving back.
Yes, but the conversation, Lena, will to have what they see if there's a way to end it. And also what the uses you do after that you can use those funds for.
And we're meeting tomorrow with our consultant R3, Rose was putting earlier, so strategize on the use of the funds. Right now, we've been doing scrap pails, distribute the community, and we've been able to expand our compost program from once a month to every month of year, and we buy compost equipment for those attendees, but I'm seeing about 6-5 people per class, and so the food resource manager position was also just filled. So if we cannot fill the recycling coordinator role, the county, then we will have to look at our options because we'll be paying state if it's not filled.
If we went with an outside, like consultant, someone that does this, to be able to utilize them in a more efficient way is an option?
It is interesting, kind of what we're doing with R3 have been supporting with site visits to businesses and food recovery from site visits, tier 1, tier 2 generators, but it's still not spending it.
Okay. If we get, make stat like we did to this bill meeting, that would be great. Anything you want to add?
Just status,
With
but
the
what the plan
plan.
is. And then with one of the grants passes or entitlements, you don't get just extend it. So we'd like to hear what the state or federal was money coming from the ops for them.
They have extended already, I believe, at least once, not twice.
Okay, I only had one question, which was, when it came to, and I'm sorry, in our cost sharing agreement, Did we previously discuss, or was this a conversation you and I had? The cost sharing agreement, is that something that has a set, or is something that is open-ended? How old it, and is it something on our radar in the future? I know we have a lot on our plate right now, but a conversation about the status and if it needs any amendments or revisions.
Yeah, the agreement, cost sharing agreement was created in 2006 as a result of the emergencies, my understanding, is not have paid their portion of the programming, and so the city and the county came together to create the cost sharing agreement. They outline what responsibilities are of integrated waste management, the county as the agency. Prior to that, there was a joint powers agreement, I believe 1995, that was created as all the county need compliance to comply with 899 Integrated Waste Management Act. Later, this cost sharing mechanism was created it was first, it's time to reformalize that relationship, reimbursement to the county.
Have we had any amendments,
There's no
2006?
amendments, no.
So that's 20 years ago, and 30 years ago when it comes to the joint power agreement, just think that we probably will want to spark a conversation in spare time, because we all have so much time. It's just a conversation that maybe once we have the plan, how we're moving forward with all of the regulatory and contract change with either quality or with a consultant, what that could look like. It's not a high priority. It's something I think, even if it was having council, your council, county council, city council go through and do a one-over to make sure anything that is like FB 1383, and what the rule is. You know, I don't believe FB 1383 was prior to 2006. So just an amendment, start to look at things that change that may need to be memorialized in an amendment. How do you feel about that, Councilor? Yeah. You're good? Okay. I want to say any of that. In your case, we're a quorum right now. It does. Yeah, it does. I'll tell you, two-member committees are kind of sometimes fun. That's all I had. That's it. Thank you. So appreciate the update on this. So we now, I buried my cheat sheet. Very empty cheat sheet. Now we are moving on to item 6, or our action item, which is a recommendation regarding fiscal 26-27 and budget based on what we've discussed here, working at a special meeting at the end of March, beginning of April, which could schedule on item 3. I can do that. And are you with that, Councilor? Okay. And then our next one is appoint a local area task force chair and vice chair.
Angela, report here.
Well, I believe, is there interest from our other member? Would our other member like to be chair? I believe he expressed potential interest.
Okay.
And so I'd be happy being vice chair if he's chair. I don't want to be vice chair, but
My name chair, I think, yeah, I mean, as he expressed, I'm fine with it.
is that okay? Okay, I'm good with 2.
Yeah, how about that?
Because honestly, between us, it's just, it's whoever's running the meeting. We've got a good team here, and it's a lot of work to do and a lot of conversation to have. So I recommend, council member, and I always say his last name wrong, I say it wrong, so sorry.
So that,
Okay, and then for vice chair, I'm going to appoint you as vice chair, and then I can just hear for support.
Right.
Okay? I'm a first, you're a second. All in favor, aye.
aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so do we now? Are we good? So move on to local area task force. It's only 8 o'clock, and time shift has really messed me up now. I feel I should already be there.
Chair, Don, you take comment on the appointment of the chair, vice chair.
Thank you so much, Sean. You're probably in a bus somewhere.
No.
You scared me for a second. Is there any public comment on the or vice chair appointment?
Now, receive public comment first by Zoom, and after the time, public comment will be taken in chambers. Do you have any public comment on Zoom? Do we have any public comment in chambers? We have no public comment.
Seeing no public comment, we're going to leave the stand it was and not revote unless Sean in space would like to say we vote again.
No, fine.
Thanks, Sean.
Yep.
Okay, so now we're moving on to meeting date, and this is going to include special meeting date. So
Yes, and so we need to schedule the next 3 meetings and a special board meeting. So if you could pull out calendars and we can discuss that. So Cena has expressed interest in having a special meeting in late March, early April. And we also take consideration, we use the planning department Zoom. And so we don't want to collect with any meetings that they have. And by Monday night works, but does that work for you all? We also want to collect with your meetings that you have as well. We're pretty flexible.
And Monday's not for me. We city council meeting on Monday, and then we had special meetings Monday when we don't meet, so all our Mondays are taken up. We've had some special meetings or just scheduled. The purpose of that has a result completing city council meetings. So I would recommend Tuesdays available, Friday, Wednesday.
I would not like Tuesdays because of the same problem. Tuesday, it's either board meeting or a special board meeting. So I would recommend either a Tuesday, or Wednesday. We could Fridays make our late, but I don't have a problem with it, but I know that's not very nice staff. But I availability Wednesdays are normally open to me. Wednesdays are pretty good. How about guys?
I think Wednesday, is Wednesday planning commission meeting for county as company? Oh, yes, Wednesday's a planning commission.
So we're gonna,
Have to just have to go over the agenda and see when
they're,
maybe a Tuesday and non-board meeting could be available. Just to budget hearings, but that has to happen by end of April. But we can solve with each other and the agenda to see we have available.
So if we could do Wednesday and have them not conflict with the planning commission.
So the plan commission is meeting, their next meeting is on March 18th, so that's out. It does look they have anything on March 25th.
And March 20th is actually pretty good because the 25th is, well, I have something the 25th. I have a 5:30. I've been asked to hold that date. We do 1st of April?
I don't see committee county meetings on Wednesday the 1st.
I don't
Went
have
down
anything.
to the city council.
Or Mondays aren't because he had conflicts being at here time. Or was it Tuesdays? Third Tuesday each month? You have standing.
Does it like April 1?
No, not for council members.
How about March 31st? Oh, no. Oh, yeah, that's your choice.
Yeah, then you're having on my calendar. Like, web would stay with me. I could do Tuesdays. Our board meeting normally do not end, and they end by about 3:30.
We'll brew coffee.
Yeah, I mean, I do it Tuesday. I can make work and just lump it together. I'll take for the team. Okay, well, we'll rotate on the fee bring. So we could do Tuesday at 6. And we would, our first meeting would be on, I would say, that'd be the 20,
April 7th?
April 7th would be great. That's our special meeting, right?
Okay. And what time?
6 o'clock normally do, okay?
Are we gonna try to have it at 6 o'clock? So, we need to schedule the quarter 2 meeting in June. That's regular meeting.
Hold on, I'm just adding so I don't, once in the calendar, it happens, right?
Only if, well, if Vanessa lets use from,
Let it.
okay.
When's the next one?
April 7th, 6 p.m.
That's
for
the special.
The next one is June, and we'll set calendar invites all of us tomorrow.
Okay, so, June, we're looking at. The 9th is a board meeting, so we could, the 9th. Or do it on June 2nd, where I don't, you feel conflict second? Okay.
Sorry, June 2nd?
Yes,
I'm just open to county
it's okay.
calendar. The county calendar is not on June 2nd.
And we can do as well as plan dates for these times and confirm that these dates work with county events and the planning commissions as well as Zara, who's not here.
Sounds a plan. Yep, so we do the 2nd. And when's the next one?
September.
The 5th is not board meeting, so they're working out kind of nice. They're not board meeting days, as we have a special. September 4th.
September, that's right.
Oh, sorry, I'm in August. Let's go. Next one.
September. The board of supervisors has a meeting on the 1st,
I do,
and it's not scheduled on the 8th.
okay, let's see 8.
And then looking at December, we need to remember, that's in the 2 weeks because of holidays. And we'll, after this, need some public comment.
Okay, so. December, and it has the first 2 weeks. Could it be on December 8th?
What are your pleasure?
Can you do the, okay, let's do 8th. And let's open this up to public comment.
We'll now receive any public comments for by Zoom, and after that, public comment can be in chambers. Do any public comment Zoom? Public comment in chambers? No public comment.
Okay, seeing no public comment, then we are moving down to adjournment. I
Should you
will,
take a vote on this to be, it's action item?
I will scan, all in favor? Aye. And with understand that if we have to make adjustments due to the conflict, that we'll get that up next in the special.
Yes.
And I want to thank our county council and CE for ending this evening. I don't think I've ever had them at one of his meetings. Thank you so much. With that, I'm adjourning. Everyone, have a good night. It is 8:03.